Hello, everyone. Welcome back. So this is the third lecture in the course of nutrition. Last time we spoke about energy and where to find it and how do we know if it's enough. I hope you did get the chance to also try out at least one of the methods. And if you did, it's absolutely okay if some of the things didn't turn out the way that you expected them. It really is about practice. And if you find something valuable in that, I suggest continue with that, practice some more and see the results. I do think that with time, with practice, with trial and error, it does get better and better. So I hope you get the most out of it. And so this time, in this class, we're going to be talking about micronutrients. And in an age where we can buy supplements in a gas station, I do think it's an absolute necessity to know what they are, how much we need them, and where we can find them. So we will talk about exactly that, about functions, sources, deficiency and overdosing, and as well supplements. I want to also introduce you with the structure of today's lecture. So normally for 1.5 hour lecture, you get around 50 slides, but this time, as this is a massive topic, I have around 200. Yes, it is a lot. So I will not focus on all of the vitamins and minerals. So if you find that you want to learn more, this file, this PDF presentation is going to be available for you. So you can just go through it whenever you need, whenever you forgot something. And also, please feel free to stop the video if a slide is interesting for you, because some of them I'm just going to skip and go forward. As well as if you need to take a break, and that's absolutely fine, because with this amount of data coming in, it's quite hard to absorb it all. It's very normal. And I don't expect you to just, remember it by heart, all of this from this one lecture, but I will focus on the main things, the most important things that you should remember, and I'll also try to include some examples of my private practice or life, or as well as some fun facts for it to make for you to be more interested in this. Okay, so why is this topic interesting or important? Because actually, often I find that people who try the most to be healthy, they often are actually in the highest risk of deficiency. And that is because a lot of people try out the method of reducing certain kind of products or excluding them, avoiding them. Yeah, so for an example, it's very common nowadays to exclude grains or carbohydrates. And as we will see in this lecture, it's actually very full of very important vitamins and minerals. Yeah, so people often get into deficiency. Yeah, as well as, for an example, like keto diet, excluding like large parts of product groups. Yeah, so the more we exclude, the higher the risk actually. So what we want to know is what kind of products contain what, so we know how to have some alternatives for that nutrient. As well as, of course, allergies or vegetarianism or veganism. Yeah, we want to know exactly what we're missing so we can get that from different kind of source of food or supplements. And although vitamins and minerals, we need them in very small doses, they're still very important for our normal cell functioning and organ functioning. So we cannot do it without them. Yeah, they're very important. And and one of the things as well, as I mentioned, the availability of supplements, even in gas stations nowadays. So if it's so common, and we see in data that around 80% of, for example, American population took their dietary supplements in 2021. So it's interesting, What are they taking? What is the most common supplements, and is it even necessary? Yeah. So I hope that you will find the answers to these questions as well today. Before we jump into that, just clarifying some of the measurements that we're going to be using this lecture. So there are going to be different units. So one is going to be milligram, and 1 milligram is 1,000 of a gram. Then we're going to be using also micrograms, yes, and that is 1,000. 1,000 micrograms is equal to 1 milligram, so 1,000 times less than milligram. Sometimes, of course, we're going to also use grams. But that's a rare case in this scenario. And then some of the nutrients are also going to be measured in international units, and oftentimes these are fat-soluble vitamins. So yeah, it depends on the country that you are in. What is the most common unit to measure something? And as well, we will have some strange letters, and I'll explain what that means in long. So there is also different dietary reference intakes. The most common one that we're going to be using is dietary allowance. So recommended dietary allowance, which is going to be RDA. Then we have adequate intake. So for an example, okay, so let's compare them maybe. So recommended dietary allowance is the requirements of nearly all healthy individuals. So it would be around 97 to 98% of the population. So it's also used to calculate nutritionally adequate diets. Then if we cannot calculate that, if we don't have enough research, then often adequate intake is the one that we use. Then sometimes we also use estimated average requirement. That is like estimated average that would be needed for around 50% of healthy individuals. And then we have tolerable uptake intake level. Tolerable uptake intake level, so UL. And that is maximum daily intake unlikely to cause adverse health effects. So we need quite a lot of data to actually calculate the uptake at the upper intake level. But some of the products or some of the nutrients are going to have them. And as we speak in this class about vitamins and minerals, especially vitamins, we need to understand as well some of the terms. And one of the terms that I'm going to be using this class is antioxidants. You might have heard of them. They're quite popular. But so the function of antioxidant is basically like giving an extra electron for the free radical, because if we have too much free radicals in our body, that causes oxidative stress, and that basically leads to cell death. And so the kind of factors that leads to that is, for an example, sun exposure, radiation, smoking, aging, so all kind of toxins as well. And so we need these antioxidants to help to stabilize this free radical, because otherwise it's just unstable and it just goes around crazy in our cells. And there are some that I maybe want to mention. But so we're going to be talking about vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin C, and carotenoids. That's the one that you will also hear from me when I mention antioxidants. Then there are a lot, for an example, in cacao. They're called flavonoids, or phenols in coffee, for an example, or polyphenols. Like coffee is actually quite rich in antioxidants. So still some research are coming up, but so these kind of products, which contain antioxidants, that can actually help to reduce several chronic diseases, such as heart disease, cancers, and so on. Still a lot of research needed, but so when we have a lot of stress in our bodies, antioxidants can reduce this oxidative stress, and that is a good thing.